It's been my position since late last week that it would be appropriate for the minority, not having had but 8 roll call votes since July, to have 5 amendments of our choosing on this bill. And therefore, I'm going to ask a counter consent at this time. I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of calendar number 368, S-2262. I further ask consent that the only amendments in order be 5 amendments to be offered by myself or my designee related to energy policy, with the first amendment being my amendment number 2982 on saving coal jobs, and with a 60-vote threshold on adoption of each amendment. I further ask that following the disposition of these amendments, the bill be read a 3rd time and the Senate proceed to a vote on passage of the bill as amended, if amended.
Is there objection?
Reserving the right to object, Mr. President,
Republican leader.
Earlier this morning, I noted that the Majority Leader had refused for 7 years to allow a serious debate on energy in this chamber. I said that he tried to stifle the voice of the American people again this current week as well. At a time when so many middle-class Americans are suffering from high energy costs, lost jobs, and stagnant wages in the Obama economy. At a time when global crises clarify not just the need, but the opportunity for America to establish a greater energy presence overseas that would grow more jobs here at home. At a time when Eastern Kentuckians are suffering from a depression, that's a depression with a D, made so much worse by this administration's elitist war on coal. Well, Republicans are going to keep fighting, even if Senate Democrats would rather pander to the far left and shut down debate. Republicans are going to keep fighting for the middle class. That's why we plan to offer, and hope to offer, forward-leaning amendments that aim not just to increase energy security, but to also improve national security and economic security for our middle class. One amendment I had hoped to be able to offer would approve construction of the Keystone Pipeline, which everyone knows will create thousands of jobs right away. One amendment would expedite the export of American energy to our global allies, which would create more of the jobs we need right here in the U.S. One amendment would have prevented the administration from moving forward with its plans to impose a national carbon tax through the back door, even though Congress already rejected the idea several years ago, and even though we know it would devastate an already suffering middle class. There's another amendment, too, one that I plan to offer personally, had planned to offer, along with the junior senator from Louisiana and the senior senator from North Dakota. It would halt the administration from moving forward with new regulations on coal-fired power plants until the technology required to comply with the regulations is commercially viable, which it currently is not. The Obama administration's extreme regulations would hamper existing coal facilities, too, taking the axe to even more American coal jobs in the midst of an awful, awful economy. These coal regulations are especially unfair to the people of my state. We know they would hit Kentuckians who are already suffering, constituents of mine who just want to put food on the table and just feed their families. Congress needs to do something to help them, and that's why I would have offered that amendment today. I would remind my colleagues that the amendments we had hoped to offer is almost identical to the legislation authored by the Democratic senior senator from West Virginia that already passed the House of Representatives on a bipartisan basis. So there's no excuse not to pass it here, and we hope the senator from West Virginia and his Democratic colleagues will stand with us to do just that. Mr. President, I yield the floor.